Hello friends, this is Scott. We're sitting in front of my sweet corn patch. This is planting number 1, and it's really time to harvest. It's getting out to the point where I'm going to be a little bit overdue on the harvest. I have picked probably 10 ears, and we've taken them, up to Salt Lake and enjoyed them there. And I've ate a few down here, but have a little bit of an issue. We had good pollination, but I want to kind of show you what we're dealing with here. And I hinted at an earlier video that we're getting good ears. They're just babies. They're not long at all. So I don't know what's up with this variety of corn, whether it's my fertility or whatever. But I mean, again, you look, there's great pollination. I'm not worried about that at all. But yeah, they're tasty, but they're dinky. So anyway, yeah, this year's garden's been kind of interesting. I've had some good crops, or I've had some not so good crops, as we saw with the onions on my last video. But anyway, yeah, we're going to pick the sweet corn that's here, and then I'm going to show you what planting number 2 looks like, and hopefully we'll be able to harvest that. I did plant it way late, and I don't know if we're going to be able to beat the first frost. Once it freezes, that'll be the end of this, probably, if it's a hard frost. So yeah, so we're going to see what we can get corn-wise today, and we're going to pick this patch. And they're going to be small ears, but I'm going to do my best to clean them up and put them in the freezer, and blanch them and cut them off the cob and put them in freezer bags, quart freezer bags. They're my favorite, winter vegetable to eat. They're just, they're just tasty, tasty, tasty. So anyway, let's see what we can get out of this crop, and then I'll show you later. Probably won't be doing that today. I got some other things to pick, but I'll, add that information into this video and show you, what we did produce inside and how we processed it and how we got it in the freezer and how much we get. So anyway, let's take a look at this corn and let's see what we can harvest today. I previously mentioned I'd picked probably 10 ears that we've enjoyed so far. And yeah, now it's time to get rid of all these ears and get them all picked. And I planted only 3 rows because that's all the space I have here. I did plant them closer together than most corn planters would plant, but you got to use the space that you have. And this is where I wanted to plant them this year. I thought it would get full sun. I was a little concerned about the deer and other creatures possibly finding this corn, but nothing. I did not have any animal damage whatsoever. Have a little buck living across the street that I thought might be sneaking in here, but yeah, no damage. So again, 3 rows. Now, instead of having long, skinny rows, you want to plant more short, dense rows or multiple rows. I wish I had 5 rows here because corn is a wind-pollinated plant. So what'll happen is, as the wind's blowing, it'll shake down, and every one of those little silks on the ears has to be pollinated. So yeah, it's crucial that, if you plant long, skinny rows and only a couple, you're probably not going to get good pollination. You're going to have undeveloped ears or partly developed ears. I was also concerned with all the bug pressure we had last year. And with my earliest corn I picked, I did have a few earwigs that made it into the house. And I don't know if I have any corn earworms, so we'll have to check on that and see how that is. But yeah, going through my last of my 3 rows, and it doesn't take long. And again, I've got all that firewood I got to get burned up, so then that'll give me another row or so if I decide to plant corn here again. This is where I planted the tomatoes last year and had a huge crop. And then where I planted the tomatoes this year, not so much. So this is a pretty primed area. I think I'll use this area probably in the future, maybe for putting in a little hoop house, greenhouse, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I'm going to use the space and grow as much food as I can. And again, I'm whipping through this pretty quick, and there's not that many plants here, but I'm finding quite a bit of corn. And what I'm not finding is silk on the ears of the corn. Just like last year, the grasshoppers got into the corn and they ate the silk. But fortunately, the ears were already pollinated, and I think that's the case this year. I don't think I'm going to have any pollination issues, but we'll see. Now, one thing with corn planting is you always have to have a spotter or somebody following behind or double back, because inevitably it shouldn't be that hard to pick all the corn in one swoop, but you miss ears. And I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a double check, and as you see, my arms are filling up because I found another probably 10 or so ears that I missed on my first go around. So you always double back because you'll find some good ones. Now, the main corn producers only usually pick the top ear because the bottom ear generally doesn't develop as big and it's not as marketable, but I'm picking everything because all corn's good corn to me, and these ears are already small. But yeah, that's what I missed. So yeah, considerable. But here's the harvest. And again, I'd probably picked 10 ears before. The ears were okay size, medium size. Probably got 50 ears here. I think I counted them. There's around 50 left. So I wasn't going to take this mess into the house. So yeah, I'm starting to shuck them back a little bit and taking a look. But I want to give you a good look at the whole harvest. And that's basically the average size of the ears there. It's not big at all. But Theo was with me this corn picking. And yeah, this cat's always around too. And for the big tomcats, got the wimpiest little meow voice you'll ever hear. But yeah, one of my friends here on the homestead. But I didn't want to pick or take the ears inside and make a big mess. So I'm out here shucking the ears and cleaning them off a little bit. Now these ears were a little bit different. They were a little hard to pull off the stalks. They were not the easiest to harvest. I had to do a lot of second twists to get them off. And yeah, pulling the silk off, they're pretty tight little ears. So yeah, this is a variety I just grabbed off of, at IFA in one of the bulk seed racks, and I don't even remember the name of the seed. But I'm used to bigger, longer, sweeter corn, either a tricolor or a bicolor, or just like candy corn, which is just a solid yellow, big ears, really meaty ears. But I can't complain. I don't think it was a fertility issue. I don't think it definitely wasn't a pollination issue. I just think it's the variety of corn. I just got a smaller variety. So yeah, I did use the method this year because I had to plant them in wood chips, because I had put a bunch of wood chips to suppress weeds. So I just kind of pulled the wood chips into a row, into a side, planted the corn seed directly on soil contact, covered them up, and this is how it turned out. I did put a little bit of a chemical fertilizer down because I figured the wood chips would rob some of the nitrogen, and corn is a heavy feeder, so I wanted to make sure it had enough nitrogen. So I think I did okay, and I think, yeah, the corn was a success. And I'm going to show you here in a minute after I get done shucking all this corn how well we did. But there's quite a bit here, but corn doesn't go a long ways, and so I'm hoping that I'm going to have multiple freezer bags packed full so that I can enjoy them all winter, because again, they are my favorite vegetable to eat in the winter. And there we go. That's probably one of the bigger ones. And you see the pollination, really good. So even though the silks were gone, but here's one that isn't so good. And this is one the grasshoppers may have affected. We had a little bit of some blank spaces in the ears. And so again, every silk has to get pollinated for a kernel to form. For all the dinky ones or the partial ones that weren't good, I gave to the chickens. And I'm happy to say, as I was going through all these ears, I did not find a single earworm or earwig. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. So again, if you rotate your crops around, and corn has never been grown here, at least since I've been here in this particular spot. But the chickens wanted to get into my corn and wanted to eat it, so I had to make sure I shoot them away, and I had to give them sacrifice a few ears just to keep them out of my business, because again, I've let them out, and this year, at this stage of the garden, they can just have at it, and they're not going to hurt too much. They'll get a little bit of the produce, but whatever. I don't want them in the tomatoes though, so I've got them blocked off. But here they come. Here comes the animals, and they love it when I'm picking stuff, and they always come looking for a treat, and they definitely enjoyed all of the shucked ears. And I gave them a few stalks, and I'll be giving them the stalks as they dry out too. But there we go. Again, not huge ears, but overall, pretty good pollination. And I think we're going to get a few bags there to put in the freezer. So I'm excited about that. And had other things to do during the day, but I picked another night to do the freezing. Now, this is the second planting of corn that I did that I was pretty sure would not make it to frost. But we've getting, it's all silked out, and and the bees are actively on the corn stalks. And yeah, so it's the ears are forming, and we don't have the grasshopper pressure because the chickens have been in the yard. So I think we're going to have good pollination if I can just make it temperature-wise till these ears are mature, and that may take a couple weeks. So if it was the same as last year, this corn will make it, but I don't know. The temperatures are getting cooler in the evening, so I'm a little worried. But it is what it is. That's what gardening in the country is all about. So, but the bees are all over. And they're enjoying the pollen that these corns are putting off. Okay, so we're back inside the kitchen after my corn harvest, and you see yeah, it's an okay harvest, but again, the ears are very small. So I don't know what this deal is with this variety, but we'll see. But the plan is we're going to move these corn into 2 pots of boiling water, and we'll be blanching for 3 to 5 minutes until they turn pretty yellow. And then we'll be coming over here, and we'll be dropping them into the cold water with the sink, rinse them off, and then I'll bring them over here, and we will cut the kernels off the cobs. Cobs go in here, corn goes in here, and then we'll be putting them in freezer bags. So yeah, let's see how this all works out. Change of plan. After we blanch the corn, I'm just going to drop it into a sink of cold water rather than worry about the colanders and trying to use the sprayer to rinse it off. So I want to make things easier, and hopefully I can get through these corn ears faster. And I'll just have a tub full of cooler water. When they stop cooking, I'll go ahead and slice them off on the cutting board, and then we'll package them up. We'll put them in that bowl and then package them up. So we'll see how much we get out of these ears. There's about 60 ears total, I think, that I picked this year so far. I think I've probably got 50 left here. So here we go. I've only got the pot on the left that's actually boiling. I'm getting the other one up to heat, so I'll get started with that one and then wait for the other one to catch up, and then I'll use both. But yeah, I'm just going to fill it up until it's not too crazy full, but I want the ears to, obviously be able to move around the pan without sloshing a lot of water. I am using gas, and I don't want to put out the flame just with a, splashing water all over. But yeah, they take 4 to 5 minutes to blanch, and once they're reached that point, I just took a lid. I don't have I wish I had a serving tray or something, but yeah, when you're down here at the homestead, you don't always have everything you need. But the lid worked good, and so I'm just pulling them out, and I can probably get about half of what I have in there on each trip. Did get a little hot water on my feet and on my hands, so yeah, I've got to be a little careful here. But yeah, just dropped them right into the cold water, and that'll stop the cooking process. But again, the other one's still heating up on the right, so I'm just just getting started on this first one. Again, I had about 50 ears, and yeah, they're good looking, and they do turn nice and yellow when they're blanched up. So again, it's about 4 or 5 minutes with corn. It's a little longer than with other types of vegetables, but just Google it in your area, and Google will tell you what you would need to do. So anyway, again, I got both pots going now, so I'm going to get them both loaded up. And hopefully I'll make short work of this. I didn't want to spend all night. I was listening to some music, as I was mentioning, and I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't be able to play the live videos because of all the copyright issues with all the music I was listening to. But anyway, so I just do the voiceovers, and it works for me. So yeah, but the corn is looking good. And as you'll see here, is I'm not just putting hot corn into warm water. I'm letting the water out of the sink, refilling it as I'm moving the corn through the process. So I am rotating. I should have some ice, but I don't have any bags ice or anything. So I'm just draining the water and filling it back up, and it's all working good. As you see, the sink's going right now, keeping some fresh, cool water going in, because obviously boiling ears will change that water temperature rather rapidly. But there we go. So again, here's me reaching down and getting the water going and pulling the stopper, and you'll see the water draining down. And eventually, if I can get to it, and then I just let quite a bit of it out, that I just push the stopper back in and then let it fill up again. So yeah, I did that 3 or 4 or 5 times. I'm not sure how many, but it did the job. And you got that cooking stop so that the ears are ready to roll. And next step is going to be taking those and cutting off the kernels off the cobs. I just use a regular serrated knife. Cobs will go in the left bag, and then I'll stick the corn there in that colander and then bag it up. But it's a pretty simple process. You got a round ear, and with a knife, you just take basically four shots at it. You basically make a square out of round corn, and you get most, if not all, the corn off, and do a little bit of fine tuning, and you're done. But yeah, it took me a little while to do 50 ears, but yeah, it's not a hard process. Each ear probably took 30 seconds, if it even took that long, 20 seconds. So yeah, it was kind of a nice evening. Again, listening to music and enjoying and looking forward to eating this corn in the winter. So there we go. Got to fill that whole bag up, and that corn there is going to go into that little saucepan until I have enough there to make it worth my while to bag it up. Just grabbing a spoon out of the cabinet and getting her in bags. Now, I do only have 3-quart freezer bags, and so I do have gallons, and I'm not real pleased with forgetting to get some more quarts, because I just like to pull a quart out. And again, with most vegetables, a quart will last me 2 meals, but with corn, yeah, a quart lasts me about 1 meal. I love it, so I got to have seconds. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have the right amount of bags. And so we'll see how much I get at the end. But I still got quite a bit of corn, a lot more than last year. Last year, I think I only had 2 bags. So yeah, I hoarded the last bag, and I just barely ate it about a week ago before the corn was ripe. So yeah, I got to still eat quite a few vegetables that are still in the freezer from last year, and everything I freeze this year, I'm going to start the freezing process upstairs, and then I'll move them downstairs into the big freezer, and then I will rotate. Make sure I heat up all the old stuff. But there we go. That's what the first little saucepan of corn with a lot more ears to go. And there's my little baggies, and I just grabbed a spoon, and I'm just going to fill these up. And yeah, I like just the single serving size or a double serving size. This works the best for me, and just makes for really easy meals. You cook a protein, you bake a potato, you grab a bag of veggies, you got a complete meal minus dessert. So, yeah, it makes it pretty easy to eat in the winter months. So, I'm hoping I can get lots of veggies. I still have to look at my carrots. I haven't even dug into those to see what I got. I had some earlier varieties that were purple that went to seed, so I assume my regular varieties of carrots will be decent, but I did not thin them. I've not weeded them. I've just left them alone. So, and they've got a few beets in there too. So hopefully I'll have some beets, a little bit of pepper, and hopefully a lot of carrots to go with the beans, the corn, the broccoli, cauliflower, and all that good stuff. But there we go. Nice little quart baggie, and that'll be put a little butter and salt, and that's the way I like it. But I only got 3 quarts, and then I got about 3/4 of a gallon there. So yeah, that's about 6 quarts worth of beans of corn, and yeah, I'll enjoy that for sure. And there's the carnage that'll go out and feed the chickens and the horses and the cow, or horse and cows, I should say. So yeah, we've got a little bit to go into the freezer and enjoy this winter. I mentioned I do have a little, either a spike or a 2-point living across the street, and I did manage to catch him on video one day after I'd picked the corn, and he's probably thinking, I didn't get here quick enough. Gosh darn it. But yeah, it kind of spooked him out a little bit, but I got a nice little look at this little buck. So we do have several little herds of resident deer in this little town. And yeah, with hunting season coming, he's got to make sure he stays in a safe place. But yeah, he was coming toward the garden, and I spooked him out, and he started heading off the other direction. But yeah, I'd like to see the deer, and I've been happy that they haven't got into my garden at this point, because they are living either in my yard or just right around my property. So yeah, it's fun to see wildlife this close and not have them destroy my garden. So that's a win-win. So yeah, pretty little buck. But as you're going to see here, I was coming home one night, I did see a bigger one. And yeah, we got a little 4-point too. So yeah, that's a nice one. So I'd like to find him in October. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Thank you.